Hey Raghunath, tell everyone about our Patreon community.
Sure, Kaustubha. The Wisdom of the Sages Patreon community is an incredible online yoga resource. If you like the type of yoga wisdom and culture we share on the show, then our Patreon community is a great next step. This is a listener-supported podcast, and any level of sponsorship will unlock a wide range of live and archived classes, talks, and even workshops.
Raghunath teaches, I teach, and we have a host of other excellent teachers on topics ranging from yoga philosophy, asana classes, storytelling, Ayurveda, kirtan, cooking, meditation, and a lot more.
We even have an incredible online Bhakti 12-step recovery group.
So if you want to check it out, go to patreon.com/wisdom of the sages.
All right, let's get it on.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from Phoenix, Arizona, this is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily yoga podcast with your host Raghunath and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center in New York, Kaustubha Das. Welcome to the show and welcome to Sleepin' Sunday. And Sleepin' Sunday is the day of the week where we invite very, very special guests. And I tell you, we don't invite ordinary guests. They're very special. And today is one of the most special guests we've ever had, Leela Vilasini. She's one of her specialties is she's the only one that when I get around her, I shut up. And I'm notorious on the show for having one of the bigger mouths out there. But Leela, where is she? How come I can't see her? There she is. And hi, Leela. Welcome. Leela, I'm going to give you full-on credit for starting this Bhagavatam show. You know that? But before we start, I just want to say, Kaustubha, how are you? How is New York? I heard there was a massive kirtan yesterday in New York City.
There was a massive kirtan in New York
there?
City. I was there. Actually, it was picked up by MSNBC,
Oh, really?
But the devotees who are out there chanting every day, doing kirtan in Washington Square Park. Well, New York City was like a huge party yesterday.
Wow. And you turned it into a Sankirtan party. Good
That's
for you.
exactly right. Well, I just went along with it, but the devotees that are dedicated to chanting out there every day, they did it. But Washington Square Park was kind of the epicenter of the whole thing.
Oh, wow.
And when people are happy, they're eager to dance and sing. So it was just like hundreds of people doing kirtan, in a super packed out place. And it was kind of a real beautiful, scene. And I was happy that they picked it up on television. They showed it for some time, from what I hear.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
And Leela, you're at the opposite side of Govardhan. At the other side of New York City, you're at Govardhan Hill. And I heard you moved there. Is that correct? Uh-oh.
We had a perfect connection up until this moment.
Perfect connection 5 minutes ago. And now she's just talking and talking right now. That's the thing. And I can't hear. And I'm eager to hear every word she says.
Oh, no.
Everyone's getting the lag, I think.
It's beyond lag.
I'm heartbroken. Leela is at a place where they don't have even 4G. I think it's worse than upstate New York. When she comes back, we will dive into her. But again, Leela, I'll just give it an introduction while she's talking to the screen. Leela, it'll come back. This internet stuff works in waves.
It was working so good right pre-show.
Leela, your Govardhan internet connection is chumping out on us. Are you there? Can you hear me okay?
Can you hear me?
There we go. Yeah.
I can hear everybody.
Leela,
Okay.
we just want to say that the origins of the show is you encouraged us in a very lovingly way to read the Bhagavatam every day 2 years ago. And you sat me down and just started saying, why aren't you reading the Bhagavatam more? Why aren't you reading the Bhagavatam more? And you looked at all the students I had with me, and you went to each one, and you said, are you reading the Bhagavatam? And they were like, are you reading the Bhagavatam? You went to every one, and I felt, man, this is so awkward. Why is she doing this? Why is she, like, Leela has this ability to go from very sweet and blissful and then just turn and start chastising people. And so anyway, as soon as I got back to the United States, I went up to Kaustubha, and Kaustubha got inspired. Hey, we should start reading the Bhagavatam together. And then I took that as a sign. And then me and Mara started reading. We were already reading every morning, but we just decided to read the Bhagavatam and do it on Zoom so all the students could get on. And then after 10 months of that, it turned into our podcast. So we're going to call you the seed, the genesis of this wisdom of the sages, if you don't mind.
Or in Bhakti Louis then, right?
Yeah.
Jai Prabhupada.
Okay. So tell us about the holy place you're at. It's one of our favorite places, but for those who don't know, can you share something about Govardhan?
Maybe you should share a little intro for the guests that are unfamiliar with Leela, Raghu.
Okay.
I'm just Leela.
No. People need to know.
Leela is like one of my storytelling gurus. I just shut up and listen to her. And because she speaks the language of Braj Bas, which is the local language of Vrindavan, she can go into these places and extract all the interesting stories of each ashram. And she just spends her year wandering around to different ashrams and getting different stories and different holy places. And she will just sit us down and just tell stories. And sometimes she'll even act them out for us. She's the... You can do it today if you like, Leela. And so practically every day she just sends me pictures of her adventures.
I'm a good Vrindavan monkey.
And why don't you tell us where you're from originally and just a little quick about your background?
Yeah, I'm from Kazakhstan. I was born when it was still Soviet Union, Soviet times. And my mom became devotee at the heart between the when Soviet Union almost fell apart and became separated each country. So around that time, my mother became a devotee. I was a small child. I was 6, 7 at that time with my sister. So that's how we got Krishna in our life. Okay. I was brought to Krishna from childhood. I mean, there are so many details of it, but I'll not go into that. So we met Krishna and devotees in Kazakhstan in a very tiny town where a traveling Sankirtan party which was doing Sankirtan all over. Oh, my light went off, but we can hear you.
She has bad electricity there.
Yeah. And I'm in the heart of the Mecca of India, and it's light is problem here also sometimes.
Hey, if people don't know, a Sankirtan party is a group of traveling monks who will do kirtans and give out Bhagavad Gitas. So she met in a very small village. She met them there. I'm giving the translation.
Yeah, that's like Raghunath was when he was with his rock band. Yeah, so we met this like that devotees who were traveling. My mom met them, but before that, she already read Bhagavad Gita. Somehow it got to her somehow.
Like a secret smuggled copy, right? Because it was illegal back then.
Yeah, it was illegal. By the time she got it, was already better.
Oh, okay.
And she was already a vegetarian, and she was searching so much. In Soviet Union, she already became a vegetarian and read yoga books and things. Okay. So and then we met the devotees, and she was searching. She had one main question in life, is that why to good people bad things happen, even though they're good people and they haven't done anything wrong to anybody, but they suffer. And why people who have done externally wrong many things, but they sometimes somehow live many years, they don't suffer. So then that was her main problem. So she read Bhagavad Gita, and she got the concepts of karma and reincarnation and the soul and origin of the soul, and the body is just external, and I'm as an entity eternal. So this is the whole, and the connection with the Lord, who is the person, which was the most mesmerizing part for her. It's like a personality. I'm a person, he's the person, but he's the supreme. And then the whole concept that he's not just a person, he's Krishna, he's like all attractive, and he's always young, he's like 16 forever, and he's like dark skinned, he's beautiful like a rain cloud. And he also, on top of that, he doesn't do nothing, he just plays the flute and tends cows, and he has all these friends. She was like, what? She really liked that. And then she introduced us. I remember how mom showed me Krishna and paintings of Krishna, and she told us that we don't eat animals because they also have a soul, and then how she likes all this. I was 6 at that time. I remember the day when she shared all this, so excited. And she never told us, should we eat meat or we shouldn't eat meat. She never preached. She said, you do whatever you want. You have your grandparents. Whatever you want to eat, you eat. That's what I like. That's what I will do. And when I heard all this, I thought, oh, that is so cool. I will be like mama. I will also not eat meat. And it's funny because I know that the child at 6 or 7 can make a decision. If I didn't happen to me, I wouldn't probably believe, but I made my conscious decision that, oh, no, that's very intelligent. I will not eat meat. That sounds so intelligent. They're alive. I was 7. So ever since then,
mother was the first guru.
Yeah. And ever since then, and then also I saw Krishna and I really liked, and I had that, I thought that, wow, that's so interesting. See, it comes from previous life. Everything you see now, everybody who you meet now, every knowledge you get now, it comes from previous life. And you start in this life from the level you finished in your previous life. So sometimes people start from different levels. And it seems like for some people it's easier, for some it's harder, but for some people it's so fast, they progress, but fast only till the point which you stopped in your previous life. You really go fast, then you stop, then you have to really struggle. But everybody has they have their own ladder level. But it's same process for everybody in evolution of the consciousness. So depending on who've been, I definitely searched for personality of Godhead in my past life because I vividly remember that in my childhood. Because once I heard my mother, I was 5, and my mother was sitting with my grandmother. At that time, I didn't think she's my grandmother. So my mom called my grandmother a mother. And I said, why do you call her a mother? And she said, well, because she's my mother. I said, what do you mean? She's your mother. You are my mother. And in my childhood consciousness, I thought that my mother is the original all in all. There is nothing beyond my mother. Like she is the supreme cause of everything for me.
You were like Narada speaking to Lord Brahma.
Yeah. And then that was like my concept of my mother. And then she said, no, and they started laughing. And she said, see, like you have a mother, that's me. I also have a mother, and that's your grandmother. And then she has a mother, and her mother has a mother. And they started explaining, and I became utterly disappointed. Super. That was the end of my life at that moment, because I thought that my mom is something all in all. That's the original cause. And then I realized she's not. She has her mother, and her mother has her mother. And it's like, there's so much on top of that. And from that moment, I thought that I want to find that person who is the original cause of everything. Okay. Like if my mom has the mother, and then, but who is beyond everything? From who everything started? I was
Sweet
5
baby
at
Krishna.
that time.
Okay.
Yeah. And then when they showed me Krishna and said, this is the guy, I thought, oh, he looks nice.
So Leela, when did you end up going to India? How old were you?
15.
15.
I dreamed about it since my childhood because my mom used to read stories about Krishna to me, about Vrindavan, how he killed the Putana demoness when he was just a small baby. He was 6 days old. How he killed Trinavarta, how he was playing with the gopas and gopis, how he would steal the butter, and all these places in Vrindavan. And I thought, oh, I want to go to these places. I want to see my Krishna's place. I want to see where all this happened. And we had, the time was after Soviet Union. We were so poor, everybody was so poor, nobody had money, we couldn't go to India. And I was just waiting when some devotees come from India and tell me stories. And I actually envied everybody who went to Vrindavan, and I didn't go. And every time devotees, that time there was cassettes, like cameras like that, and then you bring a huge cassette tape.
Oh, a cassette. Yeah, cassette.
Yeah, and then they would bring these cassettes of the videos they made, like completely lousy videos of India. But everything was so exciting. Any like 20 minutes, some road, but it's like, wow, it's Vrindavan.
So
I remember it was such a bad videos. But anyway, and they would gather in our place and watch them for hours. And I would leave, I would never watch, because I was so envious that I was not accepting that somebody went and I didn't go. And I would leave the room and never watch. It would just kill me. And then I was getting on my parents' case that I want to go. They said, we have no money. And I said, 1 year, before September, like 1 year, I just said that this summer, my school vacation, then September, I'm not going to go New Year to school. I'm not going to do anything, because you're not sending me to Vrindavan. Unless you do it, I'll not cooperate. And I was like 14. And my mom was like, listen, we have to do something. We should send her. Let's try. Let's find some money. And he said, but we can't go with her. She has to go with someone. She's 14. She said, okay, there are devotees, a group of, like each temple has its group devotees who travel every year. So they connected me and made documents, like allowed that they take me legally with them. So they sent me, I was 15.
Wow.
Yeah. It was 1998.
Wow.
And it was the turning point of my whole life. After that, my dad was like completely disappointed. No great education. She refused everything. She just stayed in Vrindavan. He had big dreams about me. But then he was super happy. He came to Vrindavan and then he said, oh, I'm so happy you're here.
He understood.
And he loved the place.
And your mother stayed there, right?
Yes, my mom stayed with me. And yeah, so yes, Vrindavan is incredible. It's something which everything you hear and read spiritually, it becomes manifest. It's like you witness it, because the people who are born and live in Vrindavan, they carry something super special in their hearts. There is nothing like that. India itself is very special because this Sanatana Dharma, or devotion to personality of Godhead, is quite natural for people in India. And there are so many natural devotees born in so many thousands of families of India, super pious from generations back, like extremely humble, extremely pious, basically have not done any sinful activity in their generations, like 5-10 generations back. They're still existing in India, so many. And in Vrindavan, they carry a very special, unique feature in their hearts, is that they like God without too much fear of him. And they have a very natural affection to personality of Godhead.
That's what you find so special.
Yeah, and the way they like him, you see they're just given their life to that. But it doesn't have a tinge of austerity and a heaviness of like, I'll do it, I'll sacrifice, I'll suffer for God. That, nothing like that. It's so jolly and natural and only they carry this thing. I have not seen anybody else. It doesn't look like austerity, but then when you look at it, you realize it's probably, there have been many lifetimes doing that to be like that now.
Today is a special day in India. It's called Bahulastami. You want to share about this special holiday? That it's one of those things that I remember the first time I was there in Bahulastami, I was thinking, wow, like nobody knows about this day. No one, it's like a secret day. It's a bit incredible, festive and fun and filled with kirtan. You want to share about this special holiday today?
Yes, it's a special holiday which happens in Govardhan, where I am currently staying, residing. The Vrindavan, just give a brief introduction to Govardhan. The Vrindavan is a huge area. In Krishna's, when you read ancient texts of Krishna's pastimes until he got 16, from childhood, from birth to 16, was in Vrindavan, and it consists of 12 forests, and 12 forests have so much in it, and Govardhan is in one of the 12 forests of Vrindavan. Until now, it has the foresty area, and it's all the rural area, fields and simple village people, born. The generations date back to Krishna's time, 5,000 years ago. They keep with them all the stories which also described in ancient texts, but they've been told to them by their grandparents. And this is real in here. So at 12 forests till now, to go from one forest to another, you might, like from Vrindavan, which is a most developed into the city part of the whole area. From Vrindavan to come to Govardhan, for example, it's like 30 minutes or 40 minutes by car. So it's a huge area, 64 square miles, is it? In miles, I don't know, I know kilometers, but so many things described in Shastras happened here. It's like,
well,
so
maybe,
Govardhan.
Leela ji, maybe you just share, even before we get to this holiday, you explain, like, why is Vrindavan, there's so many holy places in India, why Vrindavan is so sacred, right? There's so many tirthas, holy places. Would you like to share? Is Vrindavan different?
Yes, I'll tell you quickly one story about Vrindavan's originating, how it appeared in this world. But it's very interesting. It's described in a very ancient text, which is called Garga Samhita. And it's described by a great sage Narada Muni to a king who was inquiring about this in very ancient times, King Bahulashva. So he inquired about the same question which you asked now, Raghunath. He asked about this. How is it Vrindavan? How is it special? How it has appeared? So Narada Muni told this very interesting story, which is also briefly described in Srimad Bhagavatam in the 10th canto. So he said that once the earth took a form of a cow and came to the Brahma, who is designer of the earth, which is he's inspired and given that post by God himself, by Lord, to design and create this material universe. He's like an engineer. So she came to him complaining that things got so bad that there are too much military power and too much fighting going on the Earth planet, and they're sucking out all the resources of her, and she was suffering from that. And she complained, and she said, you need to do something. I cannot bear it anymore. My light went off again, but it will come back. So, and Brahmaji said that, well, I cannot solve this. I'm just an engineer, and I was given this post, but we should go to the Supreme Lord Vishnu, who is maintaining this universe, and he will help. So they got together with all the demigods, all the ruling managers of different departments and went to Shvetadvipam, to Lord Vishnu, who is lying there on the white snake Sheshanaga and being served by Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune. So, and they talked to him and said that you should help. There is a problem. And he said, you know, I cannot help. And they said, what? You cannot help? But we don't know anybody beyond you. You're the Supreme Lord Vishnu. And we don't know anyone beyond you. He said, the only person who can actually solve that problem is Krishna. And I'm his part. So we should go to see Krishna, the Supreme Lord, who I emanate from, and he will solve this problem. So the demigods got very surprised because they actually knew that the Lord Narayana, the four-handed Lord, who they always pray, who is the controller of the universe and maintains the universe, is the Supreme Lord. So the Vishnu said that he put them on the boat, and they started out from the universe. So Brahma, Shiva, and all other demigods, along with Lord Vishnu, were on this boat, taking their way out of the universe. So as they were moving out, they got through all the coverings of the universe. There are many layers which cover the universe. So when they came out of the coverings of the universe, they started moving forward to some place where Narayan was taking them. And as they looked back, they saw that their universe became so small, like a small kutaja seed. It's like a small ball. And then they saw, as they were going further, they saw millions and trillions of balls like that. And they started shaking and shivering, because they had not expected. Everything they knew was this universe. Even Lord Brahma, the creator of our universe, doesn't know anything beyond our universe. Our universe is immense. It has 14 layers, 7 planetary up systems, 7 down. And there are so many Rudras or Shivas which destroy, and it has a certain time, and it's so many levels and dimensions, and Brahmaji created it, and it's so many layers, and that's a huge, nobody knows the limit of it. So, but as they left the universe, they saw thousands and millions of same universes, and they were in shock. They have never they couldn't conceive of it. So then they got to the river Viraja. It's a mystical river which separates material and spiritual worlds. And as they got to the river Viraja, on that side, they saw the bright light, which was coming from spiritual planets. And then Vishnu told Brahmaji to meditate on this light. So he started meditating on this light. And as he was meditating on it, in the center of that light, he saw a beautiful lotus, 1,000-petal white lotus. And in the center, he saw a beautiful shining planet. So as he said that, they entered into that shining light, and then they entered into that, they saw the 8 cities surrounding that center of the lotus. And the beauty of that cities were hard to describe. Brahma, who created this universe, had not seen anything like that. So as they entered into the central part, they saw the town with a beautiful golden gate, and it was the jewels and the beautiful vines entwining. It was so divine and so beautiful. And they started seeing different gopas and gopis, village cowhead boys and girls walking around. And they have never seen anything like that. And then they got to the gate, and the gate was guarded by 2 beautiful girls, and they had sticks in their hands, and they looked like gopis, the damsels which milk the cows and take care of the cows. And they with folded palms, they all addressed those gopis, the guards, girls. They said that we have come here. Lord Vishnu, Lord Narayan addressed them. He said that we have come here from from the universe, and from material universe, and we want to see Lord Krishna because we want to speak with him. And that girls, they said, okay, wait a minute, we will talk to him and we'll let you know. So they disappeared, and then they came back after some time. And then one of the girls asked Lord Brahma and Vishnu, and she said, what exactly from which universe are you coming from? Which exactly universe you're coming from? Demigods of which universe you are? The creator of which universe you are, Shast? And then Brahma was bewildered, and he said, I actually don't know anything except my own universe. I have not seen or heard about any other universes, so I don't know what to say. And the girl started kind of jokingly saying to him that, yes, you in material universe, you think that whatever you know is the only ultimate truth, and there is nothing beyond that. And you don't even know, and you can't conceive that there are trillions and millions and billions of universes, which even you have no idea about. And nonetheless, you think that you're great, and you think yourself to be very powerful demigods. And she was laughing at them. And at that time, Vishnu came to the rescue of the Brahma, and he said, we are from the universe to which Lord Trivikrama had appeared, and he had pierced or poked the layers of universe with his toe, from that place, the holes in the universe covering Ganga started flowing. That's the story of Ganga's appearance. He said, we're from the universe where the Lord Trivikrama had come. So they said, oh, okay, I'll tell to Lord. And then she disappeared again, came back, and he said, you can come in. And as they entered this beautiful place called Goloka, they saw beautiful gopis and gopas dancing and singing. The breeze was very cool and was carrying the pollen of 1,000 transcendental lotus, and the air was filled with golden pollen of flowers and beautiful indescribable aroma. And there were so much songs of love and so much joking and singing going on, and so much which they couldn't conceive. They were taken into the beautiful garden. And in that garden, they saw many gopis, or the many damsels of friends of Radha and Krishna, the gopis, the cowhead girls, which were waving with chamaras and peacock fans, beautiful divine couple. And then they saw Lord Krishna and Srimati Radharani sitting on his left side. They were mesmerized, and they all bowed down, including Lord Narayan. And there is a beautiful and long description how Krishna looked, and Narayan, even Lord Narayan, who is the actually manifestation of Lord Krishna, his first expansion, was mesmerized by the beauty of his own self in the form of two-handed form of the Lord, the original form of Krishna. It said that he was shining like a dark rain cloud, but at the same time, the light emanating from him was more brighter than millions and trillions of suns. And his arms were long to the knees, and he had huge lotus petal eyes, and he was very sweetly smiling. And Radharani was sitting next to him, and his leg was slightly bent, and he sat with a golden dhoti, and a little breeze was moving his peacock feather on the head. And he was just so beautiful and relaxed, the young cowhead boy, with his concert, his internal potency, his second part, his own self in his feminine form, Shri Radha, the golden curly locks around her face, and there's this bumblebees humming around, singing beautiful songs for them, who was mesmerized. Everybody was. So then they addressed the Lord, saying that this is the problem and we don't know how to solve. And then Krishna actually predicted that he will bring his abode, and at the end of Dwapara Yuga he will come, and that abode is already manifested in the earth, but it's hidden and nobody knows its glory. But at the end of Dwapara Yuga he will come himself, and he will save the earth from that burden. And then he predicted all that has come, that this holy land of Brajabhumi will be in this earth planet. That's in short how that happened. And then when Lord Krishna said that, all the demigods, they saw how Lord Narayan, Lord Vishnu, who brought them there from their universe, has suddenly entered Krishna's body and disappeared. Then they saw Lord Ananta Shesha, the huge snake which holds the universe, appearing and entering Krishna's body. Then they saw Lord Nrsimhadev, half man, half lion, incarnation of anger of the Lord, appear there in his very terrifying shining form, and also entered and merged into Krishna's body. And then they saw Lord Ramachandra appear there, also merged in Krishna's body. Like that, in front of their eyes, every incarnation they saw coming to the earth have appeared there and merged into Krishna. And
That's
Krishna
amazing.
said that I will come, that at the end of Dwapara Yuga will come. So this place now is known as Vrindavan. It's 140 kilometers from Delhi. And even though it's like a place on the map, they say that you cannot buy a ticket in here. You can only have a special arrangement, like a special mercy. Even to an ordinary place, you need to have a special fate to come. But here, you need to have an extra special favor to come here. It's said that it's impossible to buy a ticket to Vrindavan. It should be prearranged for you. It should be a destiny to come here.
That means you can go there, but you won't experience it. Is that what you mean by that?
Sometimes you can't even go. I know personally a story of a guy, a Russian guy. He was picked up in the airport by, some Russian devotees, ecstatic. They were like, oh, where are you going? You're going to Agra. Forget Agra. Well, let's go to Vrindavan. This is a special place. And he's like, oh, what's so special? They say, but this is a holy land. And he was like, all the way, you are just speaking as nothing holy. They say, no. It's a special place. You can't buy ticket in Vrindavan. And anyway, it's a long story. He was cracking up and constantly making fun of the devotees. And he said, but see, I'll come, I'll go there. It doesn't mean anything. I will get the car and come with you and I'll be there. It doesn't, even though I don't believe anything, I'll still come there. It's just a place. It's just another place. You exaggerate. And it's a real story. It happened around 12 years ago in Vrindavan. Basically, they put him on rickshaw as he was coming from Chhattisgarh into Vrindavan. He was sitting in auto rickshaw, and he was sticking into the rickshaw halfway, and he moved his hand, and somebody passed by and hit him very strongly. And they had to take him to the hospital from there. He didn't even reach Vrindavan. They took him to the hospital to Agra, and he was treated there. And then he had a flight which had to take him to South India or somewhere. So he had no time. He had to go back to Delhi to take another flight.
I've also had many students on trips that at some point on the trip, it's time to go to Vrindavan, and they, for some reason or another, they cannot get in.
They bail.
And so that's why we prepare everybody with sincere chanting and prayer and the understanding that we're not qualified to enter, but if we are fortunate, we'll get to go. And it's a proper mood to go, and a mood of humility. But I always wondered if that was like, okay, even if a person does go, are they there? You know what I mean, Leela?
Yeah, they're still here. It said that Vrindavan is so potent that even if you don't understand anything and you came here by accident, you get the benefit. You might not understand it. You might not understand it fully, but you get the benefit. And it said that the face or ability to understand something which is beyond time and space, which is the spiritual knowledge or the knowledge of the soul, not understand means to start to have faith in eternity and that you are not this body. This requires a certain piety which you can only obtain by associating with saints, touching a tulsi plant, accidentally maybe fasting on Ekadashi, or entering accidentally a holy place, even without knowing it. You get a special credit, pious credit, which enables you, when it's accumulated enough, enables you to one day to start have faith into something sublime. So for many of us, it took many lifetimes to get to this point. So being in the Holy Land or entering it has a tremendous effect on the fate and karma also. Thousands and millions of sins, we've been around for millions of lifetimes, get burned.
So now you're at a special place in this Brajabhumi, this area, this sacred area, called Govardhan. And you've moved there. That's where you live now. And
I'm just like I moved from one village to another in Vrindavan.
One sacred village to another.
Yes, happens so. Yeah.
It's sort of like you, Kaustubha. You're moving right now. You're moving to one sacred Upper East Side to the Upper West Side.
Not quite the same, but a little like that.
Across the forest of Central Park. So now you're at Govardhan. So every day you wake up and you see this sacred hill, which is considered a deity. And it's considered unordinary. And there's like festivals happening all the time. But on this day, it's a particular festival. That's where we started this whole conversation. It's a particular festival today called Bahulashtami. Can you share?
Bahulashtami. It has three different stories, or it's three different angles to that. It's not complicated, but it's a little strange. It's not so simple. So Bahulashtami, Ashtami means the 8th day in Sanskrit. So Bahulashtami, it's actually, they call it appearance of Radha Kund and Shama Kund, which are the two sacred lakes at the Govardhan, at the foot of Govardhan Hills. And it's an incredible story of these lakes. And these lakes are non-different from the eternal forms of Krishna and Radha, who are whose expansion are Vishnu and Lakshmi. So
Right, that's a
these two
big that's
lakes
a
are
big one to
non-different.
understand. That's the big one to understand.
Yeah. So
Now, let me just say that again. The
it's a
lakes
sacred
are an
lake.
eternal form of Radha and
Yeah.
Krishna. The
See,
lakes.
the spiritual reality, I always say the spiritual reality is the ultimate psychedelic experience. So, because, you know, it's like in spirit that, you know, matter is the dead thing. Like the spark, the living spark, the soul makes the dead matter alive so that the body is moving. Because I make it alive, but the body, the flesh itself is dead. The sofa I sit on is dead. It's matter. That's why it's called the material world. That's a dead matter, which is enlivened by some particular soul living spark. But everything it has to be enlivened by something. But the spiritual reality is alive. There is no matter. The spiritual reality is all consists of eternity, knowledge, and bliss. So there, in a spiritual reality, the air, it has consciousness. The trees are conscious. I am in a spiritual world, in a spiritual body, non-different from the body. I am the full consciousness. And my consciousness is completely, absolutely manifested through my spiritual body, not like that. I may think I'm very beautiful. People might not think that. Or, you know, the body changes. We go through old age and disease and stuff. It's matter. I am different from it. The way I feel doesn't mean will not never show the way my body will not always show the way I feel, because it's just dead. I have to paint it, you know, to make it look the way I actually feel like. You know, it's just the dead matter. You play with it, kind of. So, but the spiritual reality is different. So the same way, since this Vrindavan is like an embassy of the spiritual world in the material world. So here, these things, you can actually feel these things. These two lakes, they are non-different from Radha and Krishna. The hill is alive, is being worshipped. And it requires, even if you don't have faith, by coming here, you will have some experience. It's so powerful. Raghunath knows it. Many people who came have that experience. So, and these two lakes, they have a story of appearance. Basically, all this which is here exists in a spiritual reality. It's just manifested here. Krishna brings it here to manifest the spiritual world in the material world for the souls who are conditioned here to take part in it and, you know, wake up from this dead reality into original spiritual reality, which is full of Leelas. Leela means a divine play. And the center of it is Radha and Krishna, and everybody is in full-on 24-hour exchange, loving exchange, and it's very playful and it's so much fun. And so today is the day when Radha Kund has appeared, and Bahulashtami is a special day, also connected to the story with a cow called Bahula. It's the day called after a cow. There was a certain cow in Satya Yuga, which was, it's because Radha Kund, this lake, and the Govardhan is in the forest, which is called Bahulavan. See, I told you 12 forests. So this is Bahulavan forest. And Radha Kund is in Bahulavan. And Bahulavan and Bahulashtami is famous for this cow who was saved by Lord Krishna. And should I say that story? It's going to be too long. Anyway, that's the story about the cow. So, but Lord Chaitanya came 500 years ago, and after Krishna was manifested this place 5,000 years ago, and then after some thousands of years, some places got lost, but inside the people just knew some names, something. Everybody knew Govardhan, they knew Vrindavan, but some particular places were lost. So Radha Kund and Shama Kund were also lost. So 500 years ago, Lord Chaitanya, today, on this day, rediscovered Radha Kund. And Lord Chaitanya was none other than Radha and Krishna together. That's the most recent incarnation. And it was that great golden avatar. They say that the Columbus was searching for him and he found America. I swear I heard 100 times this story, because there was a rumors even in ancient times, 500 years ago, about this golden man who is shining like molten gold. He cries in love of God, and whoever sees him becomes mad in love with God and has a God experience. So there were many people in Europe who also heard about these rumors. And
sure.
I heard that Columbus was one of them and wanted to find that golden avatar.
Well, he wanted to
And,
find
that's why
gold,
he
that's for
called-
sure.
That's why when he found America, he called them Indians, whatever it's said.
He's
Because
trying to get to
thought
India.
that he was searching. Yeah, he thought he was searching for Indians. But anyway, he had not enough pious credit to find Gauranga, but he will definitely find him.
I
But
have
he
a
got
co-
a lot of fame. Even if you pursue God, you get so much material desires fulfilled. It said those who have material desires and they're pursuing God, they'll have all their material desires fulfilled. They might not find God, but they'll definitely have everything material, all the name and fame and riches they will get. Nobody will be lost in pursuing God, even if it's for material sake, like Columbus had. So Lord Chaitanya, he found again Radhakund and Shamakund. And it was today, on this day today. And
You'll be there at midnight tonight to celebrate, or maybe because of COVID?
Because of this COVID, it's blocked. Nobody can enter Govardhan. See, because on normal days, it's around, in one night, it's around 500 to 700,000 people visit these two lakes.
Wow.
So
And they're small.
again,
They're not that
They're
big.
small. It's a
They're
small
really
village.
lakes. Yeah.
and it's you who have been, it's like, it's one of the most unforgettable experiences. Also, it's like it's incredible because at the time it's like because the holy places manifest in these waters, because the original story of Radhakund, that the all holy places of the universe have come there to serve Krishna, and that's the lake. And there was one guy who took photography of Radhakund on Appearance Day and Bahulashtami, and it was around 20 years ago, he had took around 20 photos with a camera. And when they made the photos, they saw like a Sanskrit symbols and light above the kunda at midnight, and like balls of shining light I have seen.
You got
It was
Raghunath's
really-
attention. I saw his eyes. Yes.
It was really, the guy was a photographer. He wasn't like, he was surprised. Like, so it's something really powerful. People come to take the special bath at 12 midnight here, and thousands of people.
I have a
Many people
photograph.
come
I have a photograph
and-
of my wife and her close friend coming out of having just come out of the water on that night, and you could just see their sort of charged with that.
Yeah. It said in ancient texts in Brahma Vaivrata Puran, it said that whoever takes bath on Bahul Ashtami night in Radha Kund pleases Lord immensely.
Leela, can you explain? I'm named after one of these great saints who lived at Radhakund, Raghunath Das Goswami, and wasn't he one of the people that excavated the kunds?
Yeah.
You want to share that story?
Lord Chaitanya originally, when he found the kunds, there were small puddles like of water in the middle of rice fields.
Ponds.
And the only way Lord Chaitanya, when he entered this area, he asked, what is the village is called? And the villagers said the village called is Arishtagram. And he said, Arishtagram, do you have any lakes in here? They said, no lakes, no lakes, only rice fields. He said, no, but there must be some lakes. And then the village people, and who knows the story, and I'll explain why a name Arishtagram made Lord Chaitanya suspicious. Because of the demon 5,000 years ago, a great demon in a bull disguise named Arishta came into Vrindavan.
A bull disguise.
A bull. Bull in disguise. entered to kill Krishna, because Krishna was so many demons sent to kill Krishna, and they all got liberated by Krishna. Krishna, externally, he killed them, but he actually gave them liberation, to which yogis, mystic yogis, strive for thousands of years in tapasya. He just gave them by killing these demons, because the Lord is all good. No matter he blesses you or he punishes you, it's supreme good.
It's all good.
You get the, it's all good. You get the benefits. So the demons, they hated him, and they got killed by the Lord, but they got liberation. So the bull got delivered, but nobody knew the lakes, and that the lakes were created after this pastime. But the only name was Arishtagram, because it's just the name which was of the village since thousands of years back. And no.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Leela, come back.
That Govardhan Hill.
But
There we go.
You disappeared. Oh, she's frozen in time.
Look at her.
I tell you, I wish there was a flow chart
Right.
to show how much you and I spoke, because it would be like down here.
That's the most in any show.
Most
Right
of
now,
the
she's
show, you and I
talking
just
away
don't
like
say
Krishna
anything.
Leela, like crazy right now, thinking that we can hear her. She's just like flowing. Hopefully, we can get her back.
I could just sit here and listen to Leela. That explanation of leaving Sweta Dweep and going to the spiritual realm was like unbelievable.
You know what I want to ask her when she comes back
What?
is that she's gone. She's probably going to check back in, and let's hopefully we'll get her back. But like how she was describing how like the way that spirituality is understood in Vrindavan, it's not like this austere yoga practice or something like that, or even like this kind of like grave religious kind of
Martyrdom.
approach. Yeah, or even martyrdom, or even just like kind of like some kind of whether we're talking about guilt or whether we're talking about what that kind of, I don't know, grim side of religion or spiritual or even spirituality, right? But she just tells the stories, Krishna stories from that land, and there, like, the spirituality is really like a large part of it is humor, like so much of it has to do with
playful
Yeah.
tricking.
Exactly. She used the word playful, and that playful nature, that humorous nature, I really love to hear more, because she conveys it all so well. She, just so that everyone knows, it's like she lives there now in Vrindavan, and really her service, her seva, is that more than anything, I'm sure she does all kinds of seva, but she takes guests around to all the different special places in Vrindavan and tells the stories that are related to them. And she just, she has a rare ability to really bring those places and those leelas, those pastimes, to life.
Mara, is she back on yet? I see her.
Yeah, she should be back on.
I am.
Oh,
Okay.
Leela, just listening to you, we got a chance to just, when you disappeared from the internet world, we just got to appreciate you. I feel like part of the realization I'm getting on today's show is, what the hell am I doing with my life? Why do I listen to anything else except descriptions of Lord Krishna? Why does anything else go in these ears? Why am I wasting this valuable life? So thank you so much for just being here today.
What we are attached to, what we are emotionally attached to, there we go after death. So the only way out of the material world is to get attached to another world, the spiritual world. And there is a book, there is one book which trains people, and it worked. I know yogis who have done it, how to leave the physical body and go into, leave the physical body into the settled plane. Like you can, by your will,
tell me,
go out of your gross body. And, like sometimes when people are in coma or, they do operation, they see themselves from they have this experience
above their body.
So there is there is a techniques which teaches. I don't advise to do this. It has a very bad consequences.
Oh, why are you telling me about it then?
People who have been through this, well, tell you for what I tell you. people who have done that, they said never do it. It has bad consequences. I'll explain you why if you want to know. But the book starts with one very important phrase. They say that one thing you should have to even experience, to get out of this gross body into settled world, like to go into the settled body, to leave your body, you have to have a dream about another world. You have to dream and to wish to go into another world. If you don't have that desire, you will never be able to leave your gross body to experience subtle body. So I want to say that what you're attached to, there you go. So if we don't listen about spiritual reality, you will not be able to be attached to it. And if we're only engrossed into this reality, and you just need a little bit of intelligence to understand that this is material, very limited reality, and that I am not this body. It's super simple.
Do you think we're always like taking birth on Earth again and again and again, or do we go into different planets? What's your vibe on that? Oh, just Earth, just same thing, New York City, Los Angeles, and it's like sort of the same, or are we like popping all over? I'm in Idaho now, like I'm in France. What do you think?
There are some souls who come from the higher planets, even now, right now on the Earth. They are, when their pious acts are finished, pious karma, like you have amount of money, you stay in 5-star hotel, when it's finished, you have to go down.
Yeah.
And that the higher worlds, you don't accumulate karma, you don't have any karma, you just kind of enjoy your balance. When it's over, you go down. But these people are mostly born in a very high aristocratic families in the material world. But they waste their lives. Then they still have stays to very heavenly life. And because this realm is not for enjoyment, here you accumulate karma. They go down very quickly. There are many people who come from up, like from musical Gandharvas, and there are many people, mostly were reborn in the same plane. Mostly, and also those who are now meeting the knowledge, spiritual knowledge, and try to practice, they also been born on this earth and been connected, because now it's a very special age. It's a golden age, began 500 years ago, and very special souls, most who were from millions of previous lifetimes, ready to really accelerate their spiritual growth, are taking birth in life after life in the Earth planet, because now it's the best time. It's like a springtime of the universe right now.
Wow.
Even though externally it looks like we know that the world is crazy thing is happening, I'll tell you what saints say and Shastras say, and what saints in Govardhan and Radha speak. Everybody. Also, I read it many times that the golden age has begun. It's starting, and you see that's been a lot, and there is a lot of spiritual upliftment. People get frustrated, people search. It's much more freedom, much more knowledge, much more access. Knowledge spreads so fast because of technology also. So that's a beginning of golden age. The golden age was predicted thousands of years back, that what is happening now. So now it's just the beginning. We are at the beginning. The golden age will last 9,500 years more. So it's just starting. But to really speed up and to really, for the golden age to really take on a power.
Yeah, what do we need to do?
That was also predicted.
How can I be part of it?
Catastrophe. It said that they say, many scriptures and many saints say that from now on, in the next some 100 years, around 60% of population will be destroyed.
Okay.
So,
okay. All right.
That's the golden age.
Now it's before you build a house, you have to clean the place. You know what I mean? So before anything real to start, and this golden age is very powerful, so there will be a clearing. A very demonic part of population will be destroyed. It will be some climatic changes, war, like
Great.
pandemics, diseases, but it
Can we go
will
back
be-
to the
and
golden
it-
age? Can we
and
go
it
back?
started. And apparently it started. It will go on. It will be a little intense in the beginning. Then a lot of
60%.
then there will be then there will be then the more pious population will stay.
Okay.
And now many saints are taking birth again. It's like a wave is going up now. There are many predictions, like in Vallabha Sampradaya, there is ancient prediction which they speak about now, that Vittal, the son of Vallabhacharya, is born already in 96. He's 24 now, and he's born in Braj somewhere.
Oh,
That's
really?
what everybody in Braj, speaking about. So
You
the
said they're
ancient-
all saints that are
That's what
coming to be
what
born. Is that
Brush
what you're
speaking
saying?
about?
No, there are many saints from the past taking birth now because for the golden age rise. So the golden age will rise for a few hundred years. It will reach its peak, will stay on its peak for a few hundred of years, and then it will go down. And after 10,000 years, 9,500, it will be finished. And there will be like no more opportunity to get out from this universe, almost zero. This is the
Until
airport.
when? Until Kali Yuga ends.
Until Kali Yuga ends. This is the 10,000 years in which all the souls from past are taking birth, who are searching, who are going to the spiritual path in any its way. They are having their golden opportunity to do it this time.
Leela, I had this dream 20
This is
years
like
ago.
an
I
opening.
kid you not. I kid you not. I had this dream 20 years ago. I woke up and I was on a morning walk with Prabhupada, and he told me about all the saints that are about to appear. When we tend to think of saints, we think of them in the ancient times or 500 years ago or 1,000 years ago. But it's interesting to think like children are being born, and they could be coming from higher planets or from higher positions, and they're being born to give light in the future. And it's amazing that you're saying this. I can see that happening because there's so. I mean, we have little children who listen to this show on a regular basis. That I feel like, man, I want this guy to lead our nation or lead our world. Nitai Lieberman, come on.
He could do it.
So this actually, the fourth sampradaya is the first prediction, which will be the first one to appear. The golden age rise. We are just at the beginning of rise of golden age. We shouldn't be too disappointed. So before anything to be started, you have to clear the ground. So now it's a little cleaning is going on. Mm-hmm. It's gonna be uncomfortable for some time, but then it's gonna be okay. And the four sampradayas will unite. That's the first prediction.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's going to happen.
Sampradayas will unite.
The four Bhakti
four
lineages
sampradayas.
will come together.
Interesting.
Four main lineages which described in Vedas. Four. One comes from Shiva, one from Brahma, one from Lakshmi, South India, Sri Sampradaya, one from four Kumaras. They will unite. I see it in Vrindavan already. It will unite on a big scale.
Wow. Hey, but you got cut off when you got.
There is a prediction when.
I was sorry. I was going to say when you got cut off by the internet, you were telling us about Raghunath das Goswami, a saint that was living in Radha Kund, and how he remember that's where we last started talking.
Yeah.
I wanted to get to the end of that story. Saint. I wanted to get to the end of the story, how he excavated Radha Kund or something like that.
He bought Radha Kund from Akbar for 2 rupees.
What?
Yeah, that is
he
a legal
bought
document.
Radha Kund from
museum.
Akbar?
Yeah, he
Akbar
bought
was
Radha
the
Kund
Mughal
from Akbar
emperor.
for 2 rupees. Akbar was ruling India at that time. And Raghunath das Goswami, he was from a super wealthy family. It was the most richest family of the world on that time. And he renounced everything to become a saint. And he met Lord Chaitanya. He became a saint. He traveled to Vrindavan to discover places by the order of Lord Chaitanya, forgotten places of Krishna's pastimes. And Lord Chaitanya gave him an order to rebuild Radha Kund from this small piece of paddy in the middle of rice field, something water. So, and he said that, and he used his wealth, part of his wealth, to buy that land from Akbar, who ruled India that time. to have it because he was a Muslim king, but so that Hindus will have it. So it's not going to be considered a land belonging to Akbar, but he will always give it to use to Hindus, or in that time it was important. So he acquired, and there is a legal document in the museum which Akbar signed. And
Have you seen it?
Raghunath,
You've seen it?
yeah.
Kaustubha, you've seen it?
I've seen it.
No, I have never heard. What museum is it in?
I've seen a photo of it. It's somewhere in somebody has it who has all the documents and stuff of Bhakti-yogi Thakur, who keeps them. Wow. They research it. It was in Calcutta.
In Calcutta. Okay,
so there is
cool.
They brought, it was like an exhibition they brought to see.
I see. Now I have a question for you, Leela.
So then
I want to hear the story of Aristasura, Kaustubha. She was telling that story about a crazy bull demon, and then you got cut off. You remember? Are you frozen? Or are you just smiling and samadhi?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. You want to tell the story about the bull demon, Aristasura? You were saying that, and then we changed subjects.
See, that actually, I'll tell, maybe that's not the whole audience will catch up on that, but I'll tell you one small detail for you and Kaustubha, and the rest will listen to Arishta's story, is that actual Radha Kund's appearance day is when Krishna killed the bull demon. I'll tell you, I'll tell the story, but that happened on Chaitra Purnima in April. That's not today. So you have to know that Jiva Goswami speaks about it in his commentaries to Srimad Bhagavatam. But the appearance, but when Lord Chaitanya discovered it, apparently that's on Bahulashtami.
Okay.
So that's a little detail about it, which a lot of people speak a lot, and there is Shastra evidence for that. So, but the rediscovery happened on Bahulashtami apparently. Anyway, so the Arishta demon was one of the demons sent by Kamsa, by uncle of Krishna, who was afraid, who was predicted to be killed by Krishna, who is Narayana. And these demons, they were powerful mystics who could take any form. And so he took on this, he had this bull demon form. He could take any other form, and they could travel in space, and they had mystic powers. They were these very powerful beings. They were Kamsa's friends. So Kamsa was always afraid to be killed by Krishna. So he always tried to get rid of Krishna. So he sent this Arishta. And Arishta was a huge demon, bull. When he entered Vrindavan area 5,000 years ago, he was destroying houses. And it said that he even had the smoke and fire coming out of his nostrils. He was very scary, heavy, huge bull demon. So the Krishna was at the time in the forest of Bahulavan, and he was about to have a dance with Radharani and gopis. That it was a beautiful full moon night. So, and the demon entered, so that Krishna had to stop what they were planning to do and to kill the demon. Basically, Krishna, he stood in front of the demon. First, the Gopas, the friends of Krishna, said, "Don't worry, we'll deal with him." So they stood there like this, Madhumangal and all Krishna's friends. So when they saw the demon, they started running in the bushes and said, "Krishna, you do it. We don't know how to do it." So they were really scared. There was a lot of fun and joking going on about who is going to kill the demon. See that the Krishna's friends, they were not afraid of anything. They didn't really know his supreme. Krishna killed so many other demons before, and all the boys, they were never afraid of anything. His friends, they were just having a joke and a laugh. These friends of Krishna are all close associates of God, of Lord. He always comes everywhere with them. They're his close friends. Their only concern is his happiness. They're not creation of Lord Brahma. They don't have material bodies. They're completely spiritual. They're Krishna's God's eternal friends. So they were also there having a joke, having a laugh, pushing each other, like, maybe you should kill the demon. We heard, last time you played with Krishna lost to you. You're very strong, Subal. Let's do it. Come on. And Subal is like, no, I think Madhumangal, you can do it. You're Brahman. Chant some mantras. And the demon was coming closer, was approaching. They were having all these jokes around. And then they were like, Krishna, he's very scary. So then the Krishna, they were not happy because he was destroying and disturbing Brajavasi. So Krishna thought, I should stop that. My friends in Brajavasi shouldn't be disturbed by him. So eventually when, actually Krishna didn't even give much time to him to play around. Sometimes he plays around with demons, like as if he's fighting, just for the sake of his enjoyment of the rasa, of the taste of fight. He's a supreme enjoyer. Lord likes to fight and to joke around, so he needs demons for that. Or devotees take positions of the demons also to give this enjoyment to the Lord. But because he was about to have rasa dance with his friends, with his cowhead gopis, he didn't want to spend too much time, so he just picked up by his horns, took him. He was huge, like a huge mountain. Krishna looked very small in comparison. So he just took him by the horns and smacked him a few times, and the guy was dead. That's it. It was very fast because he didn't want to spend too much time. There was a full moon night. They wanted to dance, and these guys disturbed the whole thing. So he just smacked him, and he passed stool and urine. Blood came out of his nostrils. He was dead. So Krishna liberated him. And the light, a spark, shining light from Arishta's body entered Krishna's body. Everybody saw that. And he merged with Krishna's body. That's liberation which yogis get. When they enter into light, nirvana or Brahma Jyoti, they merge with the light coming from Krishna's body. So everybody saw how the soul entered Krishna's body, the shine into Krishna's body. So, and then Krishna is like, okay, let's do the rasa dance. Let's dance. We finished the demon. It's beautiful full moon night. Time has come. Let's not waste our time. And Radharani and gopis, they said, no, you don't come close to us. You just stay away. You are contaminated by a sin of killing a bull. And in Vedic society, cow and a bull are holy. And bull represents religion. And people worship a bull and a cow. They're giving the milk and producing the grains by plowing the earth. So they're to be protected, not to be killed. And they said, no, Krishna, even though he was a demon, but he was in a bull body. But Krishna said, but he was a demon. But Radharani said, but he was in a bull's body, in a bull's form, but he was a demon. But he looked like a bull, so you killed a bull. But he was a demon, but he was a bull still. So Krishna he couldn't argue anymore. Radharani, who is his main pleasure potency, refused to be with him. And she said, no, none of us want to have anything to do with you. You are contaminated. You have to get purified. He said, okay, what I have to do? You just tell me what I have to do. I will do whatever you say. So the gopi said that he has to go to all holy places in the universe to take baths. And when he does it, he'll be purified. And he said, what? If I go all these holy places here and there, the night will be over. What are you talking about? Not only the night, 1 year, how many years it will take me? Why should I do? And I don't want to leave Vrindavan. I don't want to leave you. Why you do like that? And he said, okay, if you want this to happen, then look, watch. So then Krishna made, there was a little impression in the ground from the bull's horns, yeah? When he attacked Krishna, he made like an impression in the ground. Yeah, and then Krishna called all the holy places to come. So they started appearing. And the water started filling this place. So the beautiful Kund has appeared, like the lake. And Krishna said, so all the holy places are in this place. So I'll take baths in here and we'll be done. And Gopi said, so you say these are the holy places, but how do we know? So what you say is like holy places. We see the water has come, but it's okay. It's a little mystical. I mean, somehow you did that. But why it should be all the holy places? How do we know this is, you just made some kund. You made a lake, and then he said, okay. And he asked all the holy places to come out. So one by one from the water, all the holy places started to appear and introducing themselves. And the gopis and Radharani saw a beautiful effulgent demigoddesses and demigods appear, and each of them standing with the folded palms and introducing themselves. I'm Ganga, I'm Yamuna, I'm Prayag. I am Kaveri, I'm Narmada, I am Sindhu, I am this, I'm that. And they named each of them appearing from that lake in their personified forms, introducing themselves, bowing down to the gopis. And then they said, oh, okay, we see that these effulgent personalities, gopis believed that. So Krishna took baths in that lake and came out. But by the time Krishna did that, Radharani and gopis saw this beautiful lake manifested, extremely beautiful, with beautiful cottages and swans and birds and lilies and all this like amazing forests around it. So they thought, oh, it's such a beautiful lake. We also want to have a lake like that. So they started digging. They took their bangles, it's called kankan, and they started digging with their bangles the ground. They digged and digged. They made like a small place, digged a small place like that, and said that they want to have a kund like that, so they will fill it with water. And Krishna said, so take water from my kund. You can do it. And Radharani said, but your kund is contaminated by your sin. You took baths there, so it's unclean water. We don't want that water. We'll take water from Manasi Ganga. And Manasi Ganga is like how much? Maybe
15-minute walk.
50 minutes.
7 kilometers.
This is where Krishna manifested the Ganga at Govardhan Hill.
It's another beautiful, beautiful lake till now with beautiful temples around it. So they said, oh, we'll take water from Manasi Ganga. 1,000 gopis made a line, and from one pot to another said, we'll just carry like that. And Krishna said, oh, you can do it, of course, but I don't want to see you being tired and work so hard. Why don't I just do that? And they said, no, we'll do that. But by that time, all the holy places, when they heard that Radharani refused, they became very morose. And they understood that even if Krishna has accepted them, if Radharani, his internal potency, have rejected them, their life was not successful. So they humbly begged Radharani and they said, if you don't accept us, our life has no meaning. We're not successful. You are the mother of devotion to Krishna. Every devotion, every soul's ability to please the Lord comes from you. You are that energy of the soul which lets the soul give pleasure to the Lord and which exchanges that pleasure with the Lord. So if you reject us, how are we able to even serve him? And they prayed so much to Radharani. So Radharani, she's very soft-hearted. So she said, okay, Tatastu, you feel. And then she did like this with her foot. And she made one channel with her heel, just kicked the earth. And the channel appeared, and all the water from Shama Kund, from Krishna's Kund, filled that impression, that Kund which gopis digged. It's a beautiful, that ancient Kankan Kund, it's a small one. It's still at the bottom of Radha Kund. And once in 22 or 12 years, once in 12 years, when Radha Kund is being cleaned, they drain out the water with all the huge tortoise and
turtles,
huge fish, turtles being carefully carried to the nearby lake for safety, and then being brought back. The water is pumped out, then the kund is cleaned from the mud and everything, and then filled again. So at that time, you can see that small kund, the Kankan Kund it's called. And it said that the walls of that kund at the bottom of Radha Kund, very deep, was built by Krishna's great-grandson Vajranath, 4,500 years ago. So till now, you can see that Kankan Kund. And I have seen it with my own eyes somehow. I don't know, I have no explanation for that. I've seen photos, and I have seen also in reality, because in my lifetime, I've seen the cleaning of Radha Kund that happened. Which year was it? You were here or no?
I was not. I just see that. You can see the videos if you maybe YouTube search the cleaning of Radha Kund or the drain.
The cleaning of Radha Kund.
It's so cool.
Yes, there is some kind of like a milky substance coming from the bottom of the Kankan Kund. I've seen, and they say because of the many holy places appeared, that's the milk ocean. One of the holy places.
Leela,
yeah, like the milk ocean of the universe.
You're wonderful, and our message board today is going out of control. No one wants you to go away. We all want you part of our life.
Yeah.
I knew everybody.
I can speak for hours. You order me to speak, I speak.
I knew everybody would love you. So we want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts for bringing
you.
this Vrindavan to our day today. What a great way to start my day. What a great day it's going to be. Thank you so much. And we love coming to India and spending time with you. We're looking forward to seeing you. I don't just say, I think everybody got their heart touched because, you know, when you get absorbed in these pastimes, it brings your consciousness to a new level. So thank you so much. Say some prayers that all the people listening to this podcast can go to Radha Kund and Govardhan Hill and Vrindavan. Will you say a prayer for us today?
Sure.